I'm just getting ready to download my new pickback assortment from Plugin Alliance. All these plugins that go into Logic are also available to you in Final Cut Pro. The one thing that's changed about the music industry that's really fantastic is that at this point, pretty much anyone can have $1 million studio right in their own house. I use Logic Pro 10 as my DAW. I have been using the Waves plugins for quite a while, but I didn't actually own them, so I needed to buy my own plugins. And I decided to go with the Plugin Alliance Pick Pack. What the Pick Pack does is it gives you a choice of 10 different plugins at $29 per month for 29 months, and then you own all 10 of them. You're paying $800 over 29 months, but the selection itself would have been over $2,000. I think this is a good value. It makes it much easier for someone who doesn't make a lot of money to have the best quality plugins ready to go at home, right under their fingertips. Now, the 10 that I picked were mostly master bus plugins. The difference between a great sounding demo and an actual album sounding track is in your master bus, and also the mastering, of course. The way I picked the 10 plugins that I bought, I needed a couple of plugins that would run in the tracks themselves and then also for the mix bus. So what I started with was the SSL Console 4000E plugin, which is a virtual simulation of the SSL 4000E series console. As most of the albums I've recorded were in the States, SSL was what everyone was using, especially in New York. Most of the records I did were recorded in New York City or around the city. So the SSL was the first thing that I bought. The next plugin, a DVerb, which is a program that allows you to take the reverb out of a room. So I thought this would be a great little thing to try. If you're recording on the fly with the Osmo, for instance, and you're in a room that's really echoey and whatever else, you're able to de-reverb the room with this plugin. The next plugin I got was a Deesser to get rid of the S's and the sibilants. The other thing I got was the Stereo Maker, which allows for a much bigger spread in terms of the sound stage. Because I'm often remastering old stuff that all I have is a 2-track version of it. So not that much stereo imaging going on. I got the Moog EQ, which is famous for its airband, and which is up in the 40K zone. It just adds openness up in the top end of your mix. I also got the Lyndell Audio 254E, which is an analog limiter based on the Neve limiters. So I got these ones for the tracks themselves as opposed to on the master bus. I got the XL-V2 by Brainworx, which is a mastering limiter, which allows you to bring up the side and the center separately. So you're able to squash a bit on the sides and get a much higher sounding mix out without losing the dynamic range. The Townhouse bus compressor, which is basically the SSL mix bus compressor. Townhouse Studios got SSL to build them an outboard version of the SSL compressor, which I remember engineer Phil Green called the rock box. So you just turn that button and rock happens. The most amazing plugin that I've run into recently is the Brainworx Digital V3. It allows you to do mid-side EQing and also forces the image out a little bit, which is fantastic for getting your sound spread wide. It can go in surgically if there's frequency that's just bothering you. You can get in there surgically and bring it down. Also, the other thing I really like is it's got a bass shift and a presence shift. By turning up the bass shift, it brings up the bass but drops the low bass. And the same with the presence shift, but also has a dynamic EQ. It'll take your mix and make it sound absolutely fantastic right out of the machine, even just running it through simply. The last thing that I got, the BX Master Desk, which is a one plug-in mastering system, which basically gives you the sound of an analog mastering chain in one single plugin. If you need to just get mixes out quickly, for instance, if you're doing a mix for someone in your house and you need to give them something that they can take away that sounds great, that hasn't been mastered, you can do this yourself right here with this plugin, and it is brilliant. It makes mastering so much easier, and it takes the guesswork out of a lot of the things too. For a website for people to go see this week, I'm going to send you to Camera Conspiracies, which is basically a humorous take on camera reviews. Casey, the host of the show, is quite a funny boy, also quite knowledgeable about his camera. Please go over and show him some love from here. The Plugin Alliance Pickback, $29 for 10 plugins over 29 months, and then you own them outright. Thank you very much.